Everybody has a game plan until you punch them in the face. After Super Bowl 42, in which the upstart Giants upset the dominant New England Patriots, members of the media wanted to know what was the Giants' formula for success. And so they went to defensive end Michael Strahan, who explained to them that everybody has a game plan until you punch them in the face. And this happens to be a very true observation. Everybody has a game plan, and every life seems to be ordered just perfectly until you get punched in the face. And the question is, what happens after you get punched in the face? Well, too many people, after getting punched in the face, throw away the game plan and give up. In this past year, there's been so much difficulty and so many tragedies. I think after the financial crisis, where some people who had been extremely successful, like German industrialist Adolf Merkel, age 74, who was a billionaire. After losing so much money in the financial crisis, he threw himself in front of a train. Or René de la Villehuchette, who was a major investor in Madoff's funds, who immediately afterwards couldn't face those who had invested with him and decided to take his own life. Or Dudu Topaz, the Israeli entertainer who unfortunately lost his television show, began to threaten media executives, was thrown into jail, and there too decided his game plan was up and that he was going to toss it all away. So the real question is what do you do when you get punched in the face? What do you do when your game plan goes awry, when life goes off its tracks? Well, there's a particular Jewish answer to this question. The Jews happen to be the experts in understanding of what to do after you get punched in the face, how to continue with your game plan, no matter what. And perhaps one of the great examples of this is one of the earliest characters in Tanakh who decides that even after being punched in the face, he's going to hang on to his game plan. Joseph, who is sold into slavery by his brothers. One of the most tragic stories, not just of family conflict, but of personal pain. Here he's sold into slavery by his brothers. He has to sit in jail, be a slave for many years until ultimately he rises. He rises to the top of Egyptian society. And at the end of his life, he makes a very unusual request. He asks to be buried not just in the land of Israel, but specifically in the city of Shechem. And the Midrash points out that Joseph had gone to Shechem to meet his brothers the day that he was sold into slavery. And essentially what Joseph is saying, according to the Midrash, is that I was sold into slavery in Shechem. I want to return back to Shechem before I die. And you have to think about it. What was Joseph saying? What was the point of being buried in Shechem? Why would you want to be buried in a place that was truly the nightmare of your life? And the answer is that after getting punched in the face, you still have to be determined and go back and insist that you can triumph. Everybody has a game plan until they're punched in the face. And after you're punched in the face, you have to hang on to the game plan. And Joseph is saying, I might have been sold into slavery in Shechem. I'm going right back. That's where my mission began. That's where it will continue. And even in my death, I insist on going back there. And I think about this particular story, and I think about an anecdote that happened just 6 years ago. 6 years ago, the Israeli Air Force was invited to participate in the 85th anniversary of the Polish Air Force. When they were there, the Israeli Air Force made a specific request. They asked if their planes could fly over Auschwitz. And indeed, on September 4th, 2003, a series of 3 Israeli F-15 fighter jets flew over Auschwitz. And there, the formation leader, Brigadier General Amir Eshel, read this particular statement. He said, while flying in the air, we, the pilots of the Air Force, flying in the skies above the camp of horrors, arose from the ashes of the millions of victims, carry their silent cries, salute their courage, and promise to be the shield of the Jewish people and its nation Israel. What Brigadier General Eshel is saying is that even after you get punched in the face, you continue with the game plan. Even after being driven away from Shechem, Joseph returns, if not in life, in death. Even after perishing in Auschwitz, we come back with our Air Force, and we say that even after getting punched in the face, we hold on and we continue with the game plan. And that is a lesson for all of us, and in particular for those of us who've been punched in the face. Keep up with the game plan. Never quit.